Well, it's official. I'm leaving New York State this summer, and this is a video that I've honestly been putting off for a little while. This has been a hard decision for me, but ultimately, I'm going to explain in this video why I came to this conclusion that it was best for me to leave New York State. And also, I want to say before I get into the nitty gritty, if you are uncomfortable or unhappy in your life, in your current situation, you have the power to change that, guys. Seriously, like, just because you're doing something now and maybe you've been in a place for a while, don't think that you're trapped there. And if you feel trapped, just know that if you take the leap that you've been running through your mind for a while, most times it's going to pan out in a good way for you. The people that take the risks in life genuinely do well, for the most part. So don't be afraid of change. And if you don't like where your life is at, by all means, follow your passions and go to a place that you want to go to. So with that being said, I've been thinking about this for a while, guys. I'm gonna do this whole thing in one take. I kind of just want to have a discussion here. My roots have been in New York. I've been in New York my entire life. That's been my primary residence, has been throughout New York State. And now that I am 21 years old, I am looking to begin the next chapter of my life truly. I have graduated college. I'm kind of in that in-between phase where I'm looking for my long-term career, or I'm looking to build towards that. It's sad. It's sad because time flew by. It really did. But I just know deep down in my heart and my gut is telling me that I have to go. I have to go and leave New York State, even though I've had a long history here. I went to high school here. My family was here. And I went to college in a different part of New York State, but still New York State. I've been around the Northeast and New York State my entire life. But now I'm a man now, and I got to think about where I'm eventually going to want to have a family in a place where I want to reside permanently for my adult years. And to put it bluntly, I don't believe New York State is that place. And 2020 was kind of a tough year for me, but it also taught me a ton about myself and what makes me happy. And for New York State, even though a lot of my friends are still here, my family really isn't for the most part, or if they are, they don't plan on being. Both my parents do not live in New York State, and they haven't for a few years now. My siblings do, but I don't know, I want to speak for them, but they may actually be leaving as well at some point down the road. So from that aspect, I don't have to worry too much about family. And I just know I'll always see the people that I want to see and that I care about. I'll make that happen in my life, regardless of distance. So that's something that you shouldn't really factor into your decision either, I don't think. Because, I mean, if you really enjoy living with your family, go for it. You know, if you want to be within super close proximity to where you can see them every day, if that's the most important thing to you, by all means, don't listen to my advice. But if the main factor, if you're looking at a list of pros to leave where you are, but the one thing is your family, and you don't want to be far away from the family, you should really potentially reconsider that, because you could still find ways to see them throughout the year and for holidays and such. That is a pretty standard thing for adults. So let's get into the real points here. I've been babbling on enough, guys. So aside from my roots being here, I want to talk a little bit about the New York pros. If you are into New York City and that kind of lifestyle, New York could be the place for you, whether you live in the city or in central, upstate, whatever the case may be. New York, having the city within close proximity, if you enjoy that, is really cool. The problem for me is I don't really like New York City that much, as opposed to some other people, especially some other people that I've known to grow bonds with. So from that aspect, it doesn't really matter to me going away from New York City. And New York City is supposed to be one of the big pulls to live in New York State. And for someone like myself who doesn't really value the city lifestyle as highly, it's not really a thing that factored into my decision at all. If anything, it's a thing that makes me want to leave more. So New York City could be a pro for you if you want to live in New York State or if you enjoy living in New York State. And then the Four Seasons lifestyle. So this is really dependent on who you are as a person. For me, I know I despise winter. I absolutely hate it, to be quite frank with you. And I do my best work when I can be outside in nature, in sunshine, almost all the time. I just know this for a fact, and that's just who I am as a person, guys. You can be different. You can be different from me, and that's totally okay. But I just know for me and who I've been that going to a place where the climate is more humid or hot or sunshine dependent would be very great for my productivity and effectiveness as a human. So I really do think that from that aspect, I'm making the right decision as well. But where I'm going to be missing out on the Four Seasons. I'm going to be missing out on the Four Seasons and the snow. But thankfully, my father lives in a place where I can do all my winter activities when I visit him. So it's really not a big change for me in that aspect. And I value warmth and sunshine more than cold and snow. But if you like having the seasons change every couple months, New York could be great for you. And then, like I said, my last real pro for the state is that you're in decent proximity to your friends and family if you grew up here, or if you know people that live in the Northeast, and you're within decent proximity to a lot of cities like New York City, Boston. They're pretty cool places to hang out once in a while if you're into that kind of stuff. But like I said, I'm just really not that much. That's not the things I value the most. So from that aspect, more reason for me to leave. So let's go into the cons here, guys. The cons of New York, in my eyes, this is the way I've been looking at it. The taxes are big here, and I don't really feel like I'm getting the best quality of life for the taxes that I'm going to be paying. And as a man who's going to have big goals for myself and hopefully make a lot of money in the future, saving money on taxes is going to be very, very important for me. And I really need to consider that along with the place of permanent residence. So it's better for me to just make this move now, guys, than to postpone it. But yeah, the taxes here are bad. The taxes here are really, really bad compared to a lot of the country. And where I'm going, I will not be paying nearly as much in taxes. So there's that. And then obviously for me, the winter, I do not like the winter. We've already discussed that. The lack of opportunity. So this is mainly an outside of New York City thing. If you don't mind commuting to the city or living in New York City, there is plenty of opportunity for you. But I've found that in like parts like Central, Upstate, just basically anywhere aside from New York City, there's not as much opportunity as there may be elsewhere in the country. So if you're someone that's hungry and maybe you're in business, this could not be the best state for you if you are not in New York City. That's just from my personal experience. Are there still good jobs in random parts of New York State? Absolutely, but I feel like that's the case for everywhere, right? So that's where I'm going, has more opportunity in my eyes, and I value that as well. And then just the feeling of stagnation. Part of my decision really was I lived a certain lifestyle throughout 2020, and I really thought about if I'd be happy in 4 or 5 years doing the same exact thing in the same exact place that I was doing. And that was kind of the epiphany moment for me where I was like, I have to take control and change my life because I was just not happy with anything. And it's just not what I wanted to be doing in the future. And could I have stayed in my situation for a while and been successful? Yeah, I could have, but I knew I was capable of more and I wanted a better quality of life for myself. So I decided to start planning and make that change a reality for me. So if that sounds like you, that's something you could plan out as well. And another thing about New York that I have personally found, guys, is throughout my experience of traveling and spending parts of my life in various areas of the country, I found that down south, which is where I'm going, is the people in general are a lot nicer and friendlier. That now this doesn't go for everybody. Obviously, there's exceptions to this rule, but I feel like in New York, maybe it's because of the weather, maybe it's because of just. I honestly don't know. I really don't, but I just feel like people are a lot more laid back and overall just nicer to you when you're kind of just going about your business. I'm more likely to receive random hellos in the South than I am in New York. People kind of just keep to themselves. And I don't want to say it's like a toxic environment, but it's not a very uplifting for your mood environment. And yeah, it's just, I just genuinely feel like the people are friendlier down south. That's my personal experience on it. If you have a different experience, feel free to let me know in the comments. But that's where I'm coming from on that. And then this pro sports scene where I'm going is going to be a big upgrade from New York. This is a minor thing for me. In college, I studied sport management as one of my majors. So the idea that as a backdrop, I can do a job I enjoy for somebody else that would honestly be a ton of fun. And the fact that I could go in my spare time with my spare money, good professional sports teams. I mean, that's huge for me. That's huge for me for my recreational life because I want to have some fun on the side as well, and I want to spend my money on things that I know I'll enjoy. So just the overall, like I said, guys, overall quality of life and overall things that will be better for me. I'm really excited about this as a minor aspect. And I want to just talk about, that's it for my pros and cons, but I want to just talk about my personal situation and then really just throw a question upon you guys. So I am, like I said, I'm 21. I don't have a wife. I don't have children. I've been living on my own now for honestly a little while. So from that aspect, I've learned that I'm capable of things on my own. And like when you really sit back and think about your life and the things that scare you and the changes, when you actually make them, more times than not, you're happy, right? When you're scared of something, when you fear something, but you just go for it, most times you are thankful that you challenged your fear, and that's ultimately where the growth comes in people. If you are complacent, if you are happy doing what you're doing for years upon years, and that's all you really want, that's cool, man. Like honestly, I'm not gonna judge you for it. Like it's your life, bless you. Like seriously, do what you gotta do. But for me, I just know my personality and who I am. I constantly want to improve and challenge myself, and I feel like this is the latest challenge for me because the life I envision, I am super excited for, and I'm thankful that my hard work over the last couple years has put me in a position where I can actually leave New York and achieve my goals that I want. Chase the better quality of life that I'm craving, and everybody should want a better quality of life. Like you should want the best quality of life that you could possibly get for yourself. Happiness is the only thing that matters, guys. Seriously. So if you aren't happy, do not be afraid to take the change. Don't be afraid. But this is it's tough for me. This is my first time speaking publicly about it. I'm going to wrap up this video here in a second. I want to thank you guys for watching and supporting me. If you have any questions or want to talk about like the moving process or additional reasons as to why I'm changing my life, feel free to message me on anything. I'll leave my social media links in the description, or you can just leave a comment and I'll reply to all the comments as well. But thank you guys so much. Ultimately, you're in control of your script, your life. You got this. And I'm very, very excited for my future. Thank you.